The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Is enough to send the monster running the monster. Let's see if that happens. Hello there, heroes! I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. Last time, nothing happened. Okay, Len, Maya, and Kit caught Chris up on the whole Zabiak situation just in time for him to have an asthma attack and declare himself too weak to help. Can Maya convince him otherwise? Let's take a look at the 16th episode of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, the hero of Grammercy Heights.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
After an intro recap of a clip show, things start off at Zabiak's palace. You know, this is way before this show's time, but if this had aired today, I might think that this shot of Zabiak's palace was generated using AI. Zabiak is using one of his displays to kind of flip through profiles of Earthlings, probably looking for new genetic profiles. Sting comes in, reporting that the Psycho and the Traitor have been taken care of. However, he says there's a problem. You see, Kamen Rider Sting and the Knights have formed a tight little group of three. A group that even he's not sure he can take down all by himself. Zabiak instructs him to isolate Kamen Rider Sting, he's the weakest of them anyway, and says he's finding more help for them even as they speak. There was a very professionally evil quality to the conversation. Sting and Zabiak are definitely on the same page. Meanwhile, maybe the good guys aren't quite as smart. Kit thinks he is, realizing that if Len knows what the riders look like, they can just go and find their Earth counterparts before Zabiak gives them the decks. Len points out that yes, he does know what they look like, not where they live or what their names are here on Earth. Kit has another idea. JTC, that dude knows everything. He even tipped Maya off about Kamen Rider Sting. Len asks how he could have known about that so early. He told Maya that he hacked a government computer to get the information, but hey. Kit doesn't seem to think that's very important, but Len, for some reason, finds it extremely important, now wanting to meet the mysterious JTC. They head over to the bookstore. Trent says that Maya's not there right now, but the two actually came looking for him. They know he's seen JTC and want to know if he got a picture or any information about him. He tries to play off like he's not the type of guy who would get that kind of information, then folds and admits that he did get JTC's license plate number. Not looking it up just yet, just wanting to have it on hand in case something came up. Something's come up. It's funny, he says that he doesn't hack the DMV database unless it's really important. Hacking the DMV database involves searching for the license plate number on what looks like their website. Pretty sure that's not hacking. The bike is not registered to anyone named James, so the address that comes up may be fake, but he gives it to them anyway. After they promise not to turn him into the police or anything, because JTC is a hero of Trent's. They head off to find JTC, but we head over to Grammercy Heights, where Maya finally catches up with Chris. He continues to insist that he's too weak to help against Zabiak. When Maya asks what about his heart, he asks what good heart is without strength. Well, I mean, if you balance courage, power, and wisdom, you're basically set, right?
Got 3 triangles! Do it!
We backfill a little bit more of Chris's backstory, and it is good stuff. Zabiak explains the contract card to him. Bonding, Advent Beast, and Rider for life. There's no going back on this. His first fight was amazing, tossing a centipede monster around like it was nothing, and he only got better as time went on. He says even the biggest monsters didn't stand a chance, which is not exactly what we see in the footage. He saves a man from some kind of big robotic bull monster, not the thing that Torque would summon for his final event, something else, and then gets knocked into Ventara by it. And then it just beats him around for a while. His whip helps, but he just ends up reflecting a blast from it right back at the monster, which destroys it. Maya insists that Chris was doing good work, but Chris feels like he was only fooled by Zabiax into thinking that he was. We see a scene of Zabiax congratulating Chris for a win. Chris wishes that his father could know about the work he's doing, but of course Zabiax says the war against the aliens has to stay a secret. As Chris and Maya start walking, we see that JTC is watching them from Ventara. I always feel like someone is watching me. One day, Zabiax told Chris that he was finally ready. Yeah, another flashback, and honestly, this episode starts to feel like the last one, the clip show, just with new footage instead of old footage. Zabiax told Chris that he was finally ready to face off against Wing Knight and the other riders. There's a funny little quirk in this scene, though, that lets me break out one of my favorite cutaway gags. You see, after Chris walks through the portal, Zabiax transforms into his alien form. However, this is a flashback story, apparently, that Chris is telling Maya. So...
how did you know about the parts you weren't there for?
Maya tells Chris that despite Zabiax's setup, the people who he saved definitely think he's a worthy hero. Then Strike emerges and says that Chris is definitely a hero to him. He's always found whiny quitters to be heroic. Chris has Maya run and then transforms into Sting. The two of them run directly to Ventara, and I don't really know why. More room to operate? And I'm talking about the Holmesian reason, the in-story reason. I know the Doyleist reason, because Ventara is the explanation for the distortion in the footage quality between the American footage and the Ryuki footage. Almost pointless scene in the bookstore where Lacey comes in, ranting at Trent about filling Maya's head with UFO stuff, and insisting she's going to talk her friend down from playing monsters, planting herself in a chair and declaring she's not leaving until Maya comes back.
That was a great scene.
Kit and Len arrive at the address that Trent gave them, and it's a warehouse. Surprise, surprise. They head inside to look around, not finding anything, and almost leaving when they're attacked by a robot. And I'm not talking about like a robotic bull monster like the thing from before. I'm talking about like a Crybot's older brother. It blasts at them until Kit transforms, but Len decides to show him how it's done, putting on those badass sunglasses, using the deck to block two laser blasts, and then transforming. The robot is fast and strong, kicking them around, but also hiding to attack from the shadows. Finally, a combination of Wing Knight's sword vent and Dragon Knight's guard vent is enough to send the robot running back to Ventara. They both find it really interesting that looking for JTC led to them getting attacked. And now Len really wants to meet JTC. And I really want to show you these cards. Episode 16, The Hero of Grammercy Heights. Pros, nice emotional piece for Chris, good to see Trent utilized more, and nice fight with the robot. Cons, not terribly much happens. Chris really does come off as a little bit whiny. And why robots? I'll consider this the getting the wheels back on the ground for another arc after the clip show. The Hero of Grammercy Heights gets 3.5 cards out of 5. This pro does have a related con, but I do overall like the emotion for Chris. It's really easy to understand his heartbreak, and if you think about it, I think the asthma is just an excuse. What really has him doubting is the fact that he got caught up in this big militaristic superhero fantasy, but he was just being used, manipulated, a tool for the bad guy. Born soldiers like him have a very innate sense of right and wrong. Learning that he was fighting for the wrong side, that's devastating for a guy like him. Would you look at this? Trent was actually useful for more than just bickering with Lacey or getting used by Maya. Admittedly, it's not much more, just finding an address, but hey, the show's two main heroes needed information and knew exactly who to go to get it. That really establishes Trent as a character. And as weird as the warehouse robot was, getting to it, the fight was nice. There's a little bit of backhanded praise to this because the whole time through the fight, I was thinking that this fight was only in this episode to be the fight in this episode, but it was a good fight. A big part of how I judge a fight in a show like this is whether the opponent of the heroes is deemed to be a worthy opponent. This is why I make such a big deal when the riders fight against gel newts, grunts. In this case, the robot was strong, fast, clever. I have no problem believing that it could have taken either of these riders out one-on-one. This is going to sound hypocritical since just a couple of episodes ago I was complaining about too much action and too much plot, but not very much happens in this episode. It's like the clip show was a nap and then this one was the writers just kind of waking back up and getting going again. Maya and Chris talk until Strike attacks. Kit and Len go see Trent for an address and then fight a robot at that address. That's it. We have some setup for later, but not too much here. So yeah, I sympathize with Chris, but only to a point. He too easily dismisses saving people. Knowing Xaviax like I've gotten to know him in these episodes, he probably had the monsters attacking people that fit his genetic profiling. That way, either way it turned out, he comes out on top, and that is classic Xaviax. But even if Xaviax was just staging these attacks to convince Chris, the monsters haven't been portrayed as being terribly smart. Their understanding of the situation was probably just, attack that human. So he was still saving their lives. One area of this show that I don't think gets a lot of attention is its monsters. This might be being used to Power Rangers, where the monsters have a very strict theme most of the time, but in this show, we've just seen all kinds of monsters. Real animals, mythical creatures. In this episode, we get 2 robots. What are the monsters? Where did Xaviax get them? Did he build these 2 robots?
What was that black goo?
Obviously better than a clip show, but the wheels are still spinning just a little bit and we got to get back on the pavement. Let's see if that happens next time by taking a peek at the 17th episode of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, The Power of 3. Kit, Len, and Chris decide to function as a team so they don't get singled out. Xaviax recruits a pair of brothers as his next riders. JTC agrees to meet Maya's friends, but only on his terms. And that is going to wrap up another Kamen Rider Dragon Knight episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. In the comments below, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it. And while you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. Until next time, heroes, may the power of the cards protect you.